Hey guys, this is Asha with Brindle Babe Designs. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the Harvest Beanie. It's an easy level pattern. It's pretty quick to work up, and I really like it because it displays, like, in this photo, I used some designer yarn, and so I think it really displays designer yarn really well. But as a, alternate yarn, you can also use We Crochet's City Tweed in the DK size. So that's the yarn I'm going to be using for this video, but you can use any weight 3 yarn. I'm also using Furl's Odyssey Peach in the size G 4.0 millimeter for this pattern. For the pattern, you will need a color A and a color B. My color A is the gray color here, the Harbor Seal, and the color B is the green color, which is the color Kelp. So to get started, you're going to do a slip knot. And you're gonna chain a total of 13 stitches. Now in the second chain from your hook, you're going to work a single crochet. And you're going to work a single crochet into each stitch across, and you should have a total of 12 stitches. After I finish my first row, I always like to make sure I have the correct number of stitches, which is 12. Now moving on to the next row, you're going to chain 1, and you're going to single crochet in the back loop only. And you'll repeat this all the way across. Now you're going to repeat row 2 until your work measures 15.5 inches long. So I'll take out my tape measure here and measure the strip I have. And I'm actually a little bit long here, so I'm just going to rip back a few rows until I get right there. So now we're going to go ahead and seam our two ends together. So you're going to line everything up together. And all you're going to do, very simple, is just slip stitch the two edges together. You'll do that all the way down. You want to make sure the stitches line up so that it's not off center. So the way that I'm doing this, instead of taking both bars and slip stitching them together, I slip stitch the two in the center together. So the two that are touching in the middle together. So the outside ones, I don't go through those stitches to do my slip stitch. So here's what your brim should look like. Now moving on, we're going to chain one, and we're going to start working our single crochets around the brim, which is going to work as our base. So you're just going to work a total of 90 single crochets around your brim. Try and work these as evenly as possible. Once you get to the end of this row, you're just gonna slip stitch to your first stitch. I went on ahead, but for your row 2 of the body of your hat, you're going to chain 1 and half double crochet each stitch around. And you're going to repeat that for a total of 9 rows. Once you get to the end of each row, you're going to slip stitch and chain 1, starting your next row. One thing I almost forgot to mention, it's good to use a stitch marker at the beginning of each row so that you can keep your place and keep your end and beginning even. Okay, we are now going to do our color change to color B. You're just going to make a slip knot. And I'm at the end of my last row here. I haven't made my slip stitch yet, so instead of slip stitching with the gray color, I'm just gonna go ahead and slip stitch with the green color, just like this. And now what you're gonna do for this row is chain 1, and then in the next stitch from your hook, not the first one but the second one, you're gonna do a single crochet and a double crochet in that same stitch. Then you're going to skip one and work a single crochet and a double crochet in the next stitch. And you'll continue working like this until you get to the end, and you'll slip stitch to the end. I moved on ahead, but what you do for the second row in the top half of the portion for your color change, you're going to chain one, and then on top of each of the single crochets from the previous row, you're going to work this same sequence where it's a single crochet and a double crochet. And then you'll skip the double crochet stitch and you'll work the single crochet stitches only, working the single crochet and the double crochet in the same stitch. Okay, now that you have finished all of your rows, you're gonna pull out a long tail before you cut your yarn. So pull it out approximately like 12 inches or so. Cut the yarn, and this is gonna work as cinching up the top part of our hat. So now you're going to grab your tapestry needle and feed it through. Okay, now to start, you're just gonna zigzag your tapestry needle in and out of each stitch around. So going towards me, away from me, and you can stack on a few stitches just to do it a little quicker. And you'll do this all the way around till you get to the beginning. Okay, now we're going to start cinching everything up, so just pull it and bunch everything up together. Try not to pull too hard to where it'll break the yarn. Alright, now I'm just going to take my tapestry needle and go through one of the edges so that I can kind of just tie it off here and make a few ties. This is still the inside of our work. We're going to turn it inside out after this. Now what you want to do is we're going to tie off in the center, so like from edge to edge. So like go through across from where your yarn is and come up. There you go. just like that, and just crisscross so that it kind of closes up that gap all the way around. Okay, now we're gonna make our pom-poms. You want to get your pom-pom maker, and it's really simple. You just wrap it around like a million times, and you want to make sure that you're wrapping it like kind of randomly between the both colors, and that'll give you like a good like multicolored. Mine, I did a little more of a solid color. Now you'll just cut your yarn down the middle, and then you'll take a piece of yarn and cut it around the entire middle of this. You'll want to make sure you leave some tails of this piece you're using to tie, so that we can attach it to the top of the hat. Now you're just gonna take your crochet hook and pull the edges, the ends of your pom tail, pull it through, and then do the same to the other side and tie it off in the middle, in the inside. Once you're finished tying your pom, you're just gonna go ahead and weave in any ends and tie everything off, and that'll finish up your hat. Thanks so much for following along on this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out my blog, brindlebabe.com, for more free patterns of both crochet and knit patterns. And be sure to subscribe so you can see more free patterns in my channel. Thanks.